Hello? Buckaroo Bonzai?
You a messenger? What you got here?
No, wait a minute. I need to see Buckaroo Bonzai in person. My name is John Parker. Identify yourself, now.
Blue Blazer regular, Pinky Carruthers. Sorry, John, everybody needs see Buckaroo. Later.
Hello, cadets. Welcome to the first episode of Season 5 of the Big Monster Briefing Room. We welcome you. I am Lemuel T. Howitzer, retired general, and my able-bodied assistant is Major Millie Hazzard.
I'm very able-bodied tonight. I'm the most able-bodied I'll ever be. I'm a huge Billy fan. I've been a Billy fan all my life. I can't believe I get to meet him. This is absolutely incredible. This is amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, she's from Yonkers.
I'm from Yonkers.
We are going to discuss a science fiction film with monsters and stuff in it called The Adventures of Buckaroo Bonzai Across the Eighth Dimension. And we are lucky enough to have one of the people that was in that training film. And his name is Billy Vera. Let's bring him up.
And that's verified. That's verified. Am I verified for you, Billy? Am I verified enough?
You is verified, baby. You know, I grew up in Westchester County.
Oh, we were practically neighbors then. That's fantastic. You probably saw me taking a shower because I never had any of those blinds working for me.
I will remind you how certain people from certain parts of Yonkers pronounce the name of their lovely city. Yonkers.
Yonkers. It's
Yonkers.
It's Yonkers.
Yonkers.
We're all bonkers about Yonkers.
Rhymes with Willy Wonka's Yonkers.
It does. It's fantabulous. We're so happy to have you here, Billy. You're
Yes.
a big superstar. You're a Hollywood legend. You know, you've shaped our entire culture, and you're going to talk us through Buckaroo Bonzai.
I will do my ding-dangdest.
Absolutely.
Dangdest.
And it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you know,
Okay.
General said that General said we could play apart from the ending at the beginning, and you could talk us through it a little bit. Do you mind talking us through this? So we took all the copyright music out so that we don't get slam bammed by the FCC and all that. But
YouTube.
if you want to talk us through what's going on here, this is the epic credits from Buckaroo Bonzai.
Oh, credits, yeah.
So
This is the
where
end credits scene. Yeah.
This is where I purposely stole the scene.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to watch it right now. Billy Vera, it says it right there. Pinky Carruthers.
Yeah, there we are. There's Clancy Brown, who's doing quite well for himself there. And in red shirt on the right is Pepe Serna. And of course, red shirt on the left is Jeff Goldblum. And there's me.
The cutest one.
Yeah.
Little me. Yeah. And that was Lewis Smith with the white jacket. And you know,
for most of the film, you wore a green hat,
say something about this.
a fedora.
We did the walk to the Billy Joel song about the girl,
Uptown Girl.
Uptown Girl.
Uptown.
Yeah, and then they overdubbed something that the studio owned, rather, so they wouldn't have to pay Billy Joel.
I love that.
Right,
So what you were
Buckaroo
listening to was Uptown Girl. I just love that. And you can look at that at YouTube, everybody. You can look at the Uptown Girl overlay.
Oh,
So talk about the hopping over here. Why was you hopping like
Play
that?
that for yourself. Play up.
that was my way of stealing the scene. That's an old actor trick. You do something that nobody else is doing, and the eye will automatically be forced to go to you.
And you go backwards here too. You're the only one walking backwards.
See that? Yeah. That's a sneaky little thing, and they didn't make me do it over again because they liked it. Director Rick.
Yeah, well, there was at the very beginning, you had to keep up with some of them.
Well, there was that.
And I was wondering if that was a conscious decision.
Because I was shorter than all of them? No, I don't think so. Yeah.
No, it was beautiful, and that's the one that I recognized the most when I watched it. I mean, I love you. I think you're amazing. I was gonna look at you no matter what, but let me tell you, even if I didn't know and love you, my eyes would have instantly gone to the only guy skipping around, hopping around, looking adorable, and then you got the pink there. So, you know, did you want to talk a little bit about how you got involved with Buckaroo Bonzai?
I had the pink thing going before Margot Kitty did.
That's right.
You see?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Probably
right.
with my connection.
That's why I'm an author.
That's why you're an author. So how did you get connected with this movie?
Pardon me?
How did you get connected?
All right, let's go ahead through the one.
All right, here's how it happened.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you. You're kind of jamming a little bit. Anyway.
You're breaking up, you guys.
No, we're not. It's you. It's you, Rory.
It's all you, Rory. It's all you.
All right.
Okay.
We were playing at a club on Sunset Boulevard called the, what was the name of it? Oh, it'll come to me. It was, anyway, it later became another name where that actor died in front of it.
The Viper Room?
Viper Room. But before it was the Viper, it was the Central.
Okay.
And it was mainly a hangout for British roadies, but we played there. And we get some celebrities, you know, my friend Ken Schreiner, who plays Scotty Baldwin on General Hospital, to this day, one night he brought in a bunch of the kids from the show. And that's where I met my beloved Demi Moore.
Oh, wow.
That night. Yeah, she was
amazing.
She was just a kid. She was just a kid, and I wasn't. I was older, of course. Before she met Bruce, and then Bruce came in there the week after the debut of Moonlighting.
Wow.
And he came in there because he saw my name on the marquee out in front of the club. And he said, I saw your name out there, man. I had to come in. I said, where you know me from? He said, well, I was a bartender at Peter Weller's club in New York. And Peter bought 200 copies of your album and gave them to all his friends. And I became a fan of your music. And I said, hold on a second. I know you. I said, aren't you that guy on that new show with Sybil? He said, yeah. I said, dude, I said, mark my words, you are going to be a gigantic star. I am never, ever wrong when I predict somebody's going to be a star. And we became friends. And he came to all our gigs until he got so famous so quickly. People kept bugging him at the table, you know, and they wouldn't let him watch the show.
Yeah.
And then we did a movie together. Bruce and I did, not Demi. I never did a movie with Demi. But we did one movie together called Blind Date with Kim Basinger. You may have seen that movie.
I have seen that. Yeah, that was a big movie, and I love Kim. She's amazing.
Yeah, and you know, the director was oh my God, I'm having old man moments right now. Blake Edwards.
That's right, Blake Edwards.
And Blake,
Pink Panther fame.
Yeah, Blake had her brown her hair because he felt that as a blonde, the audience would never believe that she needed a blind date. And, you know, he was right because he's a great director. She
becomes an unholy terror when she drinks in the movie, though, right?
Oh, boy, yeah.
I think we got that set up for season 7 here.
Well,
I'll have you back for that one.
She and I got along really well. She was very, very shy girl.
Wow, really?
Yeah, very, extremely shy. Like almost.
She comes across as very confident on screen.
Well, yeah, but we were in a makeup trailer one morning, and it was just me, her, and the makeup girl, and she was just chatting away like blah 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 blah,
There you go.
And I realized that she's one of these people that is okay in a group of 2 or 3,
right?
But any more than that, she just clams up. And the same
social anxiety.
The same thing happened when she came to the club one night to see the band, and she came backstage, and a lot of, and she comes over and she sat next to me and she said, these people, they all think you and I are having an affair. I said to myself, I should be so lucky.
Call the tabloids.
Yeah, never happened, unfortunately. But if I was alone with her, she would just talk like crazy.
That's great.
And she was a great girl. Yeah,
she seems like a nice person.
She was. Of course, Bruce was a great guy, and I'm
yes.
about what's going on with his health now.
Yeah.
Dementia.
That's yeah.
To me, they've been divorced for years. To me, I hear has vowed to take care of him for the remainder of his life, and that fits with the girl I knew when she was a young girl. Because most actresses are narcissists.
Right.
And what she did for me, which will go unspoken, was the opposite of narcissism.
Right.
What she's doing for Bruce now is the opposite of narcissism.
Right.
So
yeah, because he's got a wife now who's taking care of him, right?
Yeah, well, the two of them
together.
To what I read somewhere, and
I had read that too.
That Demi said offered to move in with them and the current wife and help the new wife care for him.
Right.
And I would love to get in touch with her so that, because he loved my music so much,
Yeah.
that maybe if I went up there with a couple of my CDs or something and just sat with him and held his hand or something while he played my music, maybe some memories would come back,
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
The music would be nice for him to continuing on as well,
Yeah, I mean, he was close enough of a friend that I would do that for him. I'd fly up there.
There you go.
I would do it, man.
That's wonderful. Well, I hope you get to see him again.
I hope so. So if anybody in touch with Demi, please tell her to get in touch with me. In the phone book.
Let's go ahead and go into our timeline for Buckaroo Bonzai Across the Eighth Dimension. The Adventures of Buckaroo Bonzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer picture. Yeah. And a Sherwood production.
Yeah.
So those are the two opening screens of the film. You have the Buckaroo Bonzai logo going out. And we start out with he's attempting to break a record. A speed and sound record, I think. And everybody's all set up there. That's Robert Ito.
Robert Ito.
Who was famous from the Jack Klugman show.
Whoa.
MD. What was the MD? Not MD. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the show now.
Well, you and I, we're having like Joe.
We're having the senior moments, yeah. And that's Matt Clark there as one of the government officials. Clancy Brown. Look at how young Clancy Brown is there.
I just saw him on an episode of Chicago PD.
Yeah. Yeah. I just watched him get killed in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Buster Scruggs. Oh man, is that movie cruel?
I like Clancy. He was a good guy.
Yeah, everybody says he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So Peter Weller is there with Jeff Goldblum. They're in an operating room. He's doing some serious new operation, and then he flies out to this place where they have his car and he's got his oscillation overthruster, which he plugs in, puts on his Japanese hair headband, preparing for this thing.
You know, speaking of the Japanese, you know, Buckaroo is half Japanese.
Correct.
And his mother was Jamie Lee Curtis. However,
really,
they had to cut her entire part out because the studio, we had to cut out more than a half hour of the, not we, they had to cut out more than a half hour of the movie. The original cut was a half hour longer because they felt it was going to be such a huge hit.
Right.
They wanted to make sure that it could play 5 times a day in the theaters.
Right. They got to get under 2 hours so that, yeah. That's Hollywood.
Yeah. So
that's Hollywood.
It didn't happen, you know. You know, another thing, they signed us up for 5 sequels. They thought it was going to be that big of a movie.
Right. Well, again, it became a huge cult classic, but at the time it didn't do well at the box office, surprisingly.
Not box office, but it was #1 on because
on DVD.
DVDs had just
home video.
Yeah.
They were supposed to do the Against the World Crime League was the next one that they had slated.
Right.
They said at the end of the film. We're going to actually see that slide at the end of the show. But yeah, it never happened, unfortunately. They didn't even do a comic book of it.
Yeah.
Or an animated film even would have been easier. Okay, so he's got like the whole thruster thing going on there, like Batman. He's shooting across that desert. And when he gets to a certain point, he veers off. And Clancy Brown is laughing. Ha, 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 ha. He knows what's going on, but and Perfect Tommy seems to know what's going on, but nobody else does. And the guys there's like, Buckaroo, eject, Buckaroo, eject. And Pepe Serna there is Reno.
Yeah.
And then the oscillation overthruster kicks in. A laser comes out of the top of the car, hits a mountain, and then he goes into the mountain. And Dr. Akita-san says, Banzai! You know, about halfway through the show, I bet that Jack Klugman show is going to come to me. Anyway.
Right.
So he's in another dimension now. He's in the 8th dimension.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of weird kind of things happening around his windshield. They're looking at the tracks going up to the mountain. Again, a lot of interesting. This is early CGI here. Really early CGI.
You bet.
And some weird, like, naked body creatures jumping around his car. And then he comes out the other side of the mountain.
Oh, here, Jack Klugman is a Quincy M.E.
Quincy, that's it. Quincy M.D. I should have figured that Manny Zamora would know that.
Yeah.
He knows a lot of movies and TV.
Good.
So they're watching as Buckaroo returns from the other side of the mountain. His parachute comes out. One of the things I love about this scene is that the car knocks when he turns it off. It's supposed to be this super car, but it's got an engine knock.
You know, that's one of the reasons why it did so well in DVDs, because people could slow it down and catch all those little things.
Right. I mean, again, there's a lot of little jokes in there that you don't realize right off the bat.
Yeah, you got to see this thing about 10 times to move.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
So his windshield is kind of messed up, gooey, and he looks underneath the car and he finds this creature that's attached itself to the bottom of his car. And then we get John Lithgow is a Dr. Emilio Lizardo, who is in a assisted living.
It's not my planet, monkey boy.
That's it. And amazingly, when he sees the TV and he sees the oscillation overthruster, Dr. Hikita, I'm sorry, and terrible with names. And it turns out that the orderly in this scene is actually Jonathan Banks, who's famous. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff.
Oh,
but
he's great.
Lately, he's Mike Ehrentraut on the Better Call Saul and
yeah, he's
the
amazing.
other show.
I did a
Breaking
show
Bad.
called Wise Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think does he kill? Yeah, he kills me.
Man,
he kills me in Wise Guy. Yeah,
he plays good villains.
he was a cop in Wise Guy, and he reluctantly killed me. because I was going to shoot somebody. I was about
Well,
to.
he's the cop that gets killed in front of Nick Nolte in 48 Hours too.
There you go. He and Dan and I played golf, and I never had played golf before with predictable results.
Now, you said you and he and who played golf?
Dan Lauria from Wonder Years.
Okay.
Dan Lauria kills me and destroys my voice in Wise Guy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because I wanted to quit my job working for the mafia because I had a hit record, and I want to go out and make some money.
Do your own thing.
And the mafia guy doesn't want me to. He wants to keep me in the club. And so I do the bad thing and I go away. And then Dan Lauria, who plays a bad cop, he catches me in an alley and strangles me, you know.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Actually, it's a good show.
It
was a very good show.
Okay, so he hooks up to this thing that he pulls out of a brown paper bag, which electrifies him and allows him to go back in his mind to the point when he was trying to use his oscillation overthruster with young Dr. Hakita there to cross the dimensional barrier. And of course, he goes too soon. Dr. Hakita says, no, you're not ready. He's trying to stop him. He flies into the wall. The first half of him goes through the wall. The second half of him still stuck outside. Right. And these electroids latch onto him.
Yeah.
And he becomes possessed by Lord John Warfin.
Right.
From the other dimension.
And of course, everybody in the other dimension is named John.
Yes. John Smallberries, John Big Boutte. They're all named John.
Yeah.
So there's Jonathan Banks, very young. But great actor. A lot of fun on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Oh my God, yeah, he's amazing in that. That's.
Let me tell you how it's going down.
John Boy in Ray Brannigan or whatever, Ray Donovan. You know, John. It's the greatest role of John's career. Yeah, I think.
Well, he's even said he feels so blessed that he had got the chance to do Mike Ehrentrout on those two shows. He just loved and enjoyed working with that cast. You know, again, there are people, famous people that have written in about what a great ensemble show Breaking Bad was, including Anthony Hopkins, who wrote a 3-page letter, saying that how much he really enjoyed the fact that they worked together as a group to make an incredible show. You know,
absolutely.
So he takes away his TV, says he's using too much juice. Meanwhile, Buckaroo and his crew are in a nightclub. Can you tell us anything about the guy that's playing the manager there?
He was there for one day. That was the end of him.
He looks like who's the actor that played Schneider on One Day at a Time? Pat Harrington. He looks like Pat Harrington, but I know it's not him.
No, there's Pepe.
Yeah.
You know, Pepe.
They say everything's cool, and they go out to play, and you're on stage waiting for him.
Yeah, Pepe, was in and see the guy on the left there, the big head?
Yes.
That's Jerry Peterson from my band, The Beaters.
Right.
Who played the great iconic alto sax solo on At This Moment.
Okay.
That's Jerry. He passed away from COVID.
I'd seen that in some of your remarks on your Facebook or Instagram, maybe.
Both.
And I understand that it's a terrible loss for you. My sympathy goes out to you. I know it's very hard to lose good friends.
He stood to me on stage for 40 years, man.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So do all of these people, I know I've talked to you about this before, and Peter Weller actually can play the instruments that he plays in this film. Were all of them able to play?
No. But my guitar player coached Peter on guitar.
Okay.
We went up to his house, But Peter does play that mini trumpet.
Right.
In real life, he can play that. He went to the same college, North Texas State, as my other sax player, Lon Price. And he was and Lon said that Peter was a pretty good trumpet player. So there you have it.
But it wasn't, I mean, it didn't come down to, hey, can you play? You can play. If you want to be in Buckaroo's band, you have to be able to play. That wasn't the case.
No.
They actually fudged it with some of the actors.
Yeah.
All right, but you could play, and you're up there.
I can play bass too in real life.
Uh-huh.
So.
And there he is doing the solo.
Yeah, man.
And that's him doing it. Now he plays a song on the piano in a minute. Can he play piano?
I think so, but the song didn't require much piano playing.
Since I Don't Have You.
Great song.
And this is where we meet Penny Priddy, Priddy.
Yeah.
And she's looking kind of rugged there. She's had a bad time. She's run out of money. Life is kind of down. And he stops the show for her because he realizes she's not having a good time. And all of you are like, oh, this is weird. Why is he doing this?
Even by Buckaroo standards, it's weird.
Exactly. And then he starts playing. He says, I got a song for you. He calls her by the wrong name a couple of times, which is funny.
Great piece. Yeah.
Right, Peggy, right?
No, Peggy. Penny.
She's drinking out of a flask. She can't even afford to buy herself a drink. So he starts playing a really sad song, Since I Don't Have You, because she looks like the love of his life, who's passed on.
Yeah.
Who's passed away. He thinks, wow, she looks just like her. So there he is singing to her, and the whole crowd is like, okay, we're going to go with it. And then the band is like, okay, let's go with it.
Well, that's what we do, The Blue Blazer regulars, we got to go with whatever Buckaroo does, man.
Now, is it regulars or irregulars?
Irregulars, sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I've seen it. I was calling them Blue Blazer regulars for a while, and then I saw it was printed somewhere. I can't remember where it was, that it was irregulars. And this is the fun take where she pulls the gun up from below the camera shot, and she's going to commit suicide. And then the waitress bumps her arm. She shoots up in the air, and they end up grabbing her. And everybody on stage is packing heat.
Oh, always, man. Yeah.
They've all got Uzis and, and big, huge cannon pistols, and it's funny.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask you about, Billy, because you handle that gun so perfectly, that pistol. So I wanted to know, have you really fired guns in real life? I mean,
I'm from New York, man.
That's what I was going to say.
You gotta.
In my early part of my career, I played all those mafia Times Square clubs,
Because when you took that pistol out, it was like so real. It was so accurate. I was like, I think he knows his way around a pistol.
Well, man does what a man's got to do, I mean, I played clubs where people got shot while I was on stage.
Wow.
Oh yeah, things were rough in those days, man. I started playing music before people started smoking pot, so it was liquor. And so liquor makes people mean, and they like to fight. And there was a brawl every night. If it wasn't fists, it was chairs flying, or tables flying, or occasionally
bottles.
Oh yeah. I get pushed head first through a glass door to a club I was playing at.
Jeez. Yeah. Pepe and Clancy look like they know what they're doing too with those guns.
Yeah. Well,
had a good coach.
Yeah,
So we come to Dr. Lizardo's all packed and ready to go. Now he's leaving the asylum, I'm guessing. And this is where Jonathan meets his end.
Yeah, poor Jonathan.
He cracks his neck right there on the table. There's a little guy playing this, just throwing a baseball in a glove next to him, and he never stops. He's just still doing it as the guy's dying. And then he zaps a machine on the way out, a video game on the way out. Man, he's mean. He's mean.
Mean dude. Yeah.
And we get on Buckaroo's bus, and we see the picture of the girl that looks just like Penny Pretty. So that's when we find out.
Speaking of her, we had recently had a somewhat anniversary of Buckaroo.
Yeah.
And I posted it on Twitter. And who comes back answer on Twitter? It was her, and she said that it was one of the 5 favorite movies she ever made.
Oh, I bet you guys had a ball making this film.
Oh man, it was to this day it was the most fun I ever had. Yeah,
blast. Yeah, you can tell you guys are having fun in the movie. I mean, there's no doubt.
You know why? Because see, you asked me earlier how I got cast. Well, they came into that club I mentioned, the Central, and you know, Rick Richter, the director, and Dan, the assistant director, and he came over to me. He said after the set, he said, you know, I love the way you improvise on stage. He said I'd like you to audition for this movie. So I went in and I auditioned for Clancy's part.
Okay.
And they said, yeah, well, we're going to use Clancy, but we got this other part for you. But that's how I got the role.
That's how you got Pinky.
Yeah, because he liked the way I improvise, and so he let me. And my first day on the set, he said, I love the way you improvise. He said, so I want to give you a lot of freedom. You know, you don't have to stick to the script too much if you don't want to.
That was my next question. Did you get to improvise dialogue?
Yeah, he didn't do that to everybody. That was mostly me. Yeah. And he said, just give me an idea of where you're going to move to, you know, so I can have the camera ready to follow you.
Okay.
that was my direction, you know. And you know, toward the end, there was a scene that got cut out at the end.
Yeah.
Wait till the end, but who knows? I might not remember. We're beating up all the bad guys at the end of the movie.
Right, and Dr. Lizardo's big yo-yo dine factory.
Right. So I said to Rick, I said, I got an idea. I said, you know, we've been through this whole movie and nobody knows why my name is Pinky, why they call me Pinky. He said, you're right. He said, what can we do about that? I said, well, how about this? I said, how about my grandmother used to call me Pinky. And since, you know, all these bad guys, they live on sugar.
Right.
And so
they're all doing processed foods. They love it.
Yeah, food. I said, get me one of those big pink snow cones, and I'll pull it out of the guy's jacket. And then I'm going to look at it and I'm going to think about my grandmother. Well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do something. You know, just let me do it. So we did. So I slapped the guy, and they're all stuntmen, you know. So he can hit them and anything. He can't hurt them. You know? They're animals, these guys. Wow. So I'm slapping the piss out of him, you know. and then I'm searching him for weapons. I pull out this big pink snow cone with coconut all over it, and I'm holding it in my hand like this, and I start thinking about my grandmother and who I loved so much, who was so good to me. And I started to cry, you know, because I thought of my grandmother, you know, man. Yeah. It was like, that's why she's the one that named me Pinky. You see?
Because you like pink snow cones.
Yeah.
So did you shove it in his face?
No, I didn't do that. But
you let him go.
Yeah, but you know, in the process of cutting that half hour out of it, that was
taking that half hour out.
That lovely piece got lost.
Yeah, it would be nice to find that somewhere.
Oh man.
And Jamie Lee Curtis's footage.
Yeah. You know, she came, I didn't even know that she was in the movie. She came to the club to see us one night. and she came up to me after the set and she said, I was in Buckaroo Bonzai. I said, what?
I didn't see you.
I played the mother in the scene when Buckaroo was a little boy.
Mm.
And they cut that whole scene out. Poor
Put it
Jamie.
right on the cutting room floor. Man.
Sorry,
What
she
could have
had
been.
after that.
So he's doing his little chi there with his samurai swords. The bus pulls up to pick up New Jersey. Which, again, he's wearing a big cowboy outfit from like the 1940s westerns, and
Right.
But his name's New Jersey.
And chaps. He's wearing chaps too.
He's wearing chaps. He's got, I think, a Pinto luggage handbag there.
He's got a cowboy fetish, a Tom Mix.
Yeah. So they're picking fun at him as Buckaroo goes into the jail to see Penny Pretty and find out why it is she tried to shoot him, and then he realizes, you weren't trying to kill me, were you? Yeah. And then that's when he realizes that she was actually the twin sister of the girl that he was in love with.
Right.
But for some reason, they split the two up when they were babies.
It happens.
I wanted to say that Manny Zamora has confirmed that on the DVD extras for the movie, you can see the Jamie Lee Curtis stuff and the snow cone scene is there.
No?
Seriously?
The snow cone scene is there, according to Manny Zamora. He knows all things film, so I guarantee you, if you get the DVD extras, you're going to see it.
I'm going to have to get that.
I'm going to look it up. If I find it, I'll send a link to you.
Please do. Yeah. That's my Oscar nomination right there.
Yeah, well, you just did a fantastic job just now. I was
convinced to tears right now. I was thinking about my own grandma.
Hell of an actor. Hell of an actor.
You watched a master at work.
So now we have a press conference with Buckaroo. He's talking about how he crossed the dimensional barrier. And they're listening from a spaceship up above Earth. That is a stealth ship somehow.
The greatest
Nobody knows it's there.
All time.
So yeah, during the there's danhedaya and Vincent Schiavelli as the Red Lectroids, John O'Connor and John Porter. Yeah, John Porter.
Yeah.
I think so.
Vince Schiavelli was a very cool guy. He was Sicilian.
Yeah.
I ran into him in a little tiny Italian joint restaurant one day, and we saw each other. We sat down, had lunch. He was telling me about going to Sicily and how he was known over there. His movies were known over there.
Right.
One of the oddest looking actors of all time.
He is, but it's gotten him all kinds of great character roles. He was in one of the James Bond films, Tomorrow Never Dies, as ironically as a torturer, just like this film. He really tortures the hell out of Ellen Barkin.
I know,
throwing her around.
He beat me out of a role in the Groundhog Day.
Okay.
Yeah, we both auditioned for the same part. He got it, of course.
He's also in Batman Returns as the organ grinder.
Yes.
So he's done a lot of really great roles. He's the ghost on the train in Ghost too.
Yeah. He's a great character.
Yeah. Again, he's got a very interesting look.
Oh boy, and how,
huh? I think he's actually in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest too, I believe.
Oh my God, you going for it today, boy?
Him, and Christopher Lloyd was in that, and Danny DeVito. Yeah, they were all part of the inmates there in that.
And all odd-looking guys.
So Buckaroo gets a phone call from the spaceship, and they zap him with a special electricity that allows him to see the Lectroids, and it gives him a formula that he writes down on his hand.
Right.
And he runs into the room, back into the room, and he points at the Lectroids, the red Lectroids, and he says, "Evil!" And they're sitting there, and they're like, what? He can see us? What? And then Christopher Lloyd comes in, grabs Dr. Hikita-san hostage. He shoots Reno. Ellen Barkin's character, Penny, grabs the oscillation overthruster, realizing that they're probably going to try to take it. So she's a smart cookie.
Yeah.
So Buckaroo chases after him. He gets on a Harley. This is definitely Harley Davidson product placement here. There were posters on the wall in the room too. They get away in their Yo-Yo-Dine van. He chases after them, and they kind of an escape pod, I guess, comes out of the ship and flies down to Earth. They're going to give a message to Buckaroo about how to defeat these red Lectroids.
Yeah.
They actually turn around because they get a message about the spaceship pod, and they almost hit Buckaroo. He ends up driving off the road into the woods. And these hunters come across the ship in a tree, and when they stick it with a big stick, electricity. Again, electricity is these electroids. It's all about electricity.
Yeah.
So the pod dumps like a little, like Indiana Jones boulder out of the tree, and it almost rolls over these two guys. And then John Parker steps out, but he falls off the side of the thing and hits his head on a rock. And we get the line later, "I am sorry, John Parker's dead. It hit his rock. He hit his head."
He hit him head, man.
Yes. And now
I know how to talk that shit. I spent time in the Caribbean.
where is the character John? I'm looking for the actor's name here that plays this character that meets you at the fence. They see a Buckaroo Bonzai comic book. So the aliens know about Buckaroo Bonzai. That's why they're reaching out to him.
Right.
Buckaroo sends a message to Rawhide to look up Yo-Yo-Dine. And then the police show up. That's John Ashton, I believe.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Who's in Beverly Hills Cop as the cop. And
Basically,
they're showing him the dead Lectroid. Carl Lumley. Carl Lumley is the guy I'm trying to think of. John.
We have an encounter, Carl and I, at some point.
And Rosalind Cash plays his boss.
Yeah, she was what do you call that?
John Endall.
Yeah.
She's kind of the leader of the Red Lectroids. And she sends this message in a pink cake box.
Right.
with the bubble wrap eyeglasses.
But Rosalind's character is not a real person. She's a what do you call that?
She's just a hologram.
Hologram. Yeah.
So Perfect Tommy calls some backup from the Blue Blazer Irregulars. And these two guys come to the aid because they have a helicopter. So he finds Akita-san in the back of the van. He licks his hand and puts the equation onto Akita-san's forehead so he can work up something that they can smell so that they can see the Lectroids. And then these guys are starting to move towards the pod there to break it open. The cop tries to stop them, and John Big Butte punches them with his power punch. They bring in Penny Pretty to their Buckaroo Bonzai Institute. And this girl here is amazed that she thinks it's the other girl. She's like, "How is this possible?"
Right.
No, it's not her. It's not her. There's the aliens on the ship. And that's where they get the line, John Parker hit his head. He's dead. There's the punches.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd. Did you get to talk to him while you were filming this?
Oh yeah. He's another one like Kim. He's a very shy guy.
Yeah.
But he threw a party, I don't know, some months later, maybe a year later. He threw a party at his house, and I was invited, and Goldblum was invited. And so everybody's talking and yakking and everything. And so I go upstairs to use the men's room.
Yeah.
And he's alone in his bedroom, Christopher Lloyd. And so
I really don't want to talk to anybody.
he says hello. Yeah, he says hello to me, you know. And so I go in there, and we had like a long conversation.
There you go.
This conversation he had all night, because he was, like I said, he was very shy.
Well, and I was going to ask you, what kind of stuff would you see at a party at Christopher Lloyd's house? You know?
Yeah, you know. Well, you know, somebody asked me to play piano and sing something.
Yeah.
And there was this hot girl that I subsequently dated for a while.
There you go.
And but Goldblum and I, you know, he said I play piano too, and so that's how I found out he played piano.
Wow, you know, I tickle the ivories myself.
Good.
I can see him doing that.
You do it well.
Okay, so just general fare as far as food and drinks.
Yeah, it was food. You know, I generally don't. I'm not good at parties because I'm not one of these people. Hi, I'm Billy. You know, I don't do that. I wait for somebody to talk to me. You know,
there you go.
I'm too shy to make the first move. You know.
So, but you got a great conversation upstairs with the host.
Yeah.
You gotta love that.
He was really good. I liked him a lot.
Okay, so they realize this is the scene where Vincent Schiavelli gets kicked in the nards by Peter Weller.
Yeah.
He comes up to him, and of course he thinks that he looks like a human, but Peter Weller can see him as Electroid, and he kicks him right in the nads.
Right.
So he calls out to the other two. Peter Weller tries to escape. The self-destruct goes off on the pod. There's an Electroid driving the truck that's almost killing Peter Weller, and then he gets airlifted out by his Blue Blazer irregulars in their helicopter. They drop one of those ladders down, rope ladder. And here's your scene.
Look out.
Your second big scene. Now, in this actual scene, it's Hikita coming into the gate, and you get to see you on a horse, which most of that was cut.
They cut the part where I'm standing
Right.
on the horse's saddle.
Right.
You know, I hadn't ridden a horse since I was a little boy, and that was a pony.
Yeah.
And so I got this actress that I was seeing. She offered to give me horse lessons. So I took lessons from her, and then I get to the thing.
And dated her for a while.
Well, yeah. So anyway, we get to the set, and it was a night shoot, and so I said, you know, I just took some lessons so I could ride this horse. He said, and the guy, the wrangler, said, he said, don't worry about that. These are movie star horses. He said, you cannot fall off of them. If they can feel if you're starting to fall, and they make a move, so don't. And they were
specifically trained for actors.
Yeah, they're trained so that actors won't fall off of them.
I can see that being used in a courtroom. Yeah. We actually had him on a horse. He was specifically trained so he wouldn't fall off, Your Honor. So inside the Institute, they start looking at the list. They break into Yo-Yo Dine's computer system. They see all the John names on the list, which is weird. And then John O'Connor comes up to your gate. I don't know where he got the bicycle from. That scene must have gotten cut too.
It got cut probably, yeah.
But there you are with your green hat.
Yeah.
And
Sinatra
he's
hat.
like, I have a message from Buckaroo Bonzai.
He said,
identify yourself, nah?
And I said, everybody wants to see Buckaroo.
Need to see Buckaroo, pal.
Yeah.
So you take the cake box from him. Whoa, I love his reaction when you take it too. It's great.
Yeah.
So you take it, you bring it in.
A horse while I'm doing this.
Yes, you're on a horse. Which again, if people saw it in the previous scene and realized it, yeah,
it would be funny, yeah.
Yeah. So, so there it is. Nice little cameo there.
Yeah.
And again, you get a lot more to do as Pinky in a little bit when they plan the attack of Yo-Yo Dine. So now they are starting to put things together as to what the hell, how Yoyodyne got started. And it turns out that Yoyodyne is actually selling like military equipment to the government. These guys.
Yeah.
But it's like Jeff Goldblum's character, New Jersey, who figures out that it was all attached to Orson Welles' the radio broadcast for War of the Worlds back in the 30s. Well, maybe he goes to that whole long speech about maybe it was really what happened.
Out of that doing that shtick.
He was really good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, maybe. But
even
maybe
in the
no.
commercials that he's doing, he's still doing the same thing.
So, John Parker watches the red electroids come up, and they just jump over the fence. And he's like, "Well, why don't I do that?" So he jumps over the fence, and he gets caught. The minute he gets over the fence, they get in. He gets caught. The mechanic that works on Buckaroo's car gets taken out by Christopher Lloyd's big bootay.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a yank akin to Jack Palance in Shane. He gets yanked back into the garage.
Great.
So Buckaroo shows up, and with his Blue Blazer irregulars that saved him, and they're trying to explain to him everything that's going on, because there's a lot that's been going on here in this last 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's totally like, I don't get it.
The black guy? You know who that is? That's the great jazz singer, Bill Henderson.
You're got to be kidding me. He's a jazz singer?
Oh, a great one. Yeah.
I've seen him in other movies. He's in Clue as the cop.
He had a bit of a in the early 60s, you know, Horace Silver, the great jazz piano player, had a song called Senor Blues. And somebody wrote lyrics to it, and Bill had a minor hit. I mean, everybody in Harlem, you know, knew, because I hung out in Harlem in those days, and Bill would walk down the street and they go, "Hey man, Senor Blues, yeah, dude." Man. And Bill was a great. He passed away also, but he was a great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So why wasn't he in the bar scene? He should have been on stage with the rest of you guys.
Well, yeah, you know, jazz don't go with rock and roll so much.
Well, there you go. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice little tidbit there. I'm glad you told us about that, because I never knew. I've seen him on TV shows and in movies and stuff, but didn't realize he was a great jazz singer.
He also was the guy that fixed David Jansen's car in what you call it. You know, the one where he
Jansen. The
David Jansen's hiding from.
I know. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Manny Zamora will tell us in a second.
Yeah, Manny, come on, baby. Yeah, it'll come.
Because Harrison Ford did a take on it in the movies too.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
He's running, and there's a detective running after him.
Yes.
Of course, in the movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
He's a doctor. He didn't really kill his wife.
Right. Oh my God. I can't believe I can't remember this. Okay. The Fugitive.
Fugitive. Manny.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you for keeping us straight. Okay, so now they're watching Rosalind Cash tell them, you know, that Lord John Wharfen is loose, and he's a problem. He's a terrible villain, and if he's not taken care of, there you are in your blue hat and your bubble wrap mask. You look like the Green Hornet. So she says, if you guys don't get him in check, we're gonna cause World War III on your planet, and you're gonna destroy each other.
Yeah.
So Buckaroo, at the worst possible time, he's got to settle up with Penny about the picture. And he has to explain to her what's going on.
Right.
Dr. Hikita-san has developed this thing that they can smell, where they can see the red electroids, but Christopher Lloyd takes out the other scientist.
Mm.
He can spit a little creature that looks like a little spider kind of thing, and it connects on you and hits you with poison.
Yeah, that's how
There it is.
Killed. Right.
And well, here's the thing. The one thing that I was really upset about this movie was Rawhide and what happened to Rawhide.
Yeah.
He gets taken out by one of these things. But I realized this week when I was doing the research for this, that when he zaps Ellen Barkin's character, who's supposedly dead at the end of the film, she comes back to life. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. In the end credits, Rawhide's back. What the hell happened? How did they bring him back? That's it. He just has to zap him with that electricity, and it brings him back. I
can't remember right now. Do I stomp that spider thing with my foot?
I thought it was John Parker that did, but it could be you because you're right next to him.
I can't remember. Yeah,
it could have been you because you're right next to him.
Well, I know. I come in and I got to act surprised for like 27 takes.
27. Wow.
And Weller said to me after the scene, he says, "Dude, you are a real fucking actor, man. You look as surprised as you did the first take."
Well, surprisingly, I put this slide in the show for Manny, actually, because he made the quote, there's a watermelon in a press there, and Jeff Goldblum, it's a great take. Jeff Goldblum goes, "What's that watermelon there for?" Right. And they never explain it.
No, never explained that.
So Penny Pretty shows up again. She's decided there's all kinds of chaos going around because the red electrodes are in there. And she gets the oscillation overthruster from a Hikita-san, and then runs into Vincent Schiavelli, who's got green blood coming out of his jacket. He's been shot.
I wish she was watching this tonight.
Well, you never know. Replay.
Yeah.
If she doesn't watch it tonight, she can watch it in replay.
She'd love it.
And this is where Rawhide buys it.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum pulls this poisonous thing off his back.
Right.
Luckily, the poison doesn't affect him. You come in with John Connor.
Right.
John Parker. I'm sorry, John Parker. There you are.
Here we are.
And he says, "Is there anything you can do about this?" And he says, "No, not at all." And he stomps on it, or you stomp on it, one or the other.
One of us does, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we believe, okay, this is a death. This is it. This is the last roundup for Rawhide.
Yeah, boy.
But he comes back at the end, so that's what happened. He must have been zapped by that electricity, and it brought him back. So to all you fans who want Rawhide to be alive, there it is. He brought Ellen Barkin back. He brought Penny Pretty back, by gosh.
Bye.
It's a very dramatic scene for Perfect Tommy. Rawhide's a very good friend. He's losing it. There you are. There's one of your 27 takes right there.
Look out.
You're very surprised.
Yeah.
Lewis Smith plays
Perfect Tommy.
Perfect Tommy in this. Has a lot of good lines. And he's done some other movies after this. He did an angel, one where he was an angel from the 1950s, was like the Fonz. And seems like a nice guy.
He was nice. I didn't really get to hang with him.
Yeah.
Goldblum and I, our trailers were right next to each other.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time between shots rather, complaining about our miserable love lives to each other.
Oh yeah, miserable. He was a little intimidated by you in that the scene, the band scene, because you were getting a lot more attention than he was, and he was the star of the movie.
Poor Jeff. Oh,
but evidently he made his peace with you about that, and you guys became good friends.
Well, here's the story on that. One of the main producer was this guy named Sidney Beckerman, mm-hmm. about whom at Matteo's famous Italian restaurant that Frank Sinatra funded, they had a dish called Chicken Beckerman, named after Sidney Beckerman. So every morning when Sidney comes on the set, he would come over to me.
Yeah.
and put his arm around me and, you know, treat me like I was star of the movie. And Peter it just drove him crazy, you know. And he said, one day he pulls me, he says, I don't understand. He said, how come Sidney comes over and talks to you first when he comes on the set? He said, I'm the fucking star of this movie. I said, Peter, I have no idea. Well, here's why. I lived in an apartment at the time, you know, one of those garden apartments.
Uh-huh.
And this beautiful actress whose bedroom, our bedroom shared a common wall. She was Sidney Beckerman's mistress.
Oh.
And her home at night, and you know, and I caught them one night coming home.
So her name was on the menu too,
so to speak. And so I said, I wasn't about to tell Peter that, you know, because you know I'm Italian, omerta, you know what I mean. So
what happens in the thin-walled apartment stays in the thin-walled apartment.
Maybe. But that was why. So ever after that, I mean, for like years after that, he would eat at this Italian restaurant in the afternoon with all his old time cronies, you know.
Yeah.
And if I happened to walk in there, he'd make a big fuss over.
Hey, come on over.
You know, Billy. Hey, this kid, Billy Vera, he's a great actor. He's a friggin' star, you know. And he would like blow me. He had no need to.
Yeah.
I was no threat to him. Like, I was not going to tell anybody. He's dead now, so I can tell you, you know.
Oh, jeez. All right.
So that's why that what you were saying. That's the backstory.
Okay. I know we had talked about it before. This is the president of the United States, played by a British actor, Ron Lacey, which I thought was funny. You don't recognize him here because he always looks completely different in any role he plays. But he is Tote, the German villain in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh.
Yeah, and he played the president in this, and he's in traction. The president is in traction, which I thought was, what the hell? That's just one of those details that they just throw in there and they don't explain it, and it's funny.
No, that's right.
So Penny Pretty is being menaced by the Lectroids and the Yo-Yo-Dine, and this is the scene where Jeff Goldblum first sees the red Lectroid, or I'm sorry, black Lectroid, John Connor.
Yeah.
Parker.
John Parker.
John Parker. There he is, and he does the Jeff Goldblum shtick, you know.
Yeah.
And because John Warfin is not being handled yet, they start messing with America's electricity, causing problems. And the president decides to sign the Declaration of War short form.
Short form.
Which is another great gag.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, that's Yakov Smirnov, isn't it? As his assistant?
I don't remember.
I think so. And of course, he's supposed to be Russian, which is really funny.
Yeah.
The president's main assistant is a Russian.
Especially.
We have, John Connor. There is another movie, John Connor. Yes, you're right. You're correct. That's why that keeps coming into my head. We're thinking Terminator. So he gets into his Buckaroo Bonzai mobile. And Perfect Tommy's like, don't embarrass us. He's like, do I ever? Which is a great line. And he runs off to Yo-Yo-Dine. This is John Lithgow's Hitler moment, where he's giving the speech to the Lectroids.
Yeah.
And they're just all lazing about, like you say, eating sugar and processed foods. It's great.
Yeah.
And now they're both being menaced because they catch Buckaroo. He drives right in there, and they take him and they hook him up to some electric contraption there that zaps him.
Little S&M there.
What's that?
Little S&M moments there.
Yes. Especially with Penny Pretty, who's already kind of pulled her skirt up and tied it so we can see those great gams. So everybody comes in to Yo-Yo-Dine.
That's her idea to do that, too.
That was her idea?
No, I said I would bet anything that it was her idea.
There you go. I think she knows he has great legs. I think she knows.
Yeah, That's when 1,000 people tell you that, you know.
They were all over the place in the prison scene too,
Oh,
in the jail scene.
oh, yeah.
This is the John Smallberries. Matt Clark comes in trying to take over the place because he's a government official. My gosh.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And okay, now I want to know who the guy is behind you here, because he is he's a main character, really. I mean, but he looks kind of like Dana Gould, the comedian, but I know it's not him; it's somebody else.
Don't remember his name, but I remember him, of course.
Yeah. He has some good lines in the film.
Yeah.
Again, he's like one of their computer guys.
Yeah.
So you're all storming the compound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Matt Clark sees the spaceship that's going to take them to the other dimension.
Mm-hmm.
This is the line. "It's not my damn planet, monkey boy."
Oh, that's my favorite line.
And he hangs him up. My favorite is Lithgow telling Jonathan Banks, "Laugh while you can, monkey boy," because he's laughing at him for something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Big Boutte tells the other John there by Vincent Schiavelli, "Let's go. Forget about the torture of Penny Pretty," and he zaps the snail anyway because he wants her to die.
Yeah.
So they prepare to leave. He says, "We're going to use my overthruster." Christopher Lloyd's like, "Your overthruster is shit," and gets shot for it. "Hey, Buckaroo Bonzai, welcome aboard. You're next."
Oh, man.
I love that leather helmet he's got on too in this.
Right? 1932 football movie.
And there you are. The Blue Blazer regular who gets to watch the ship take off is you right there.
Yeah.
And it goes right over your head. Of course, the dots won't line up, so it goes through the wall. Not into the wall, but through it.
Through the wall. Yeah.
And it's out in the what is this, California?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and then he drops the payload, which is like a little escape pod kind of thing. And Buckaroo's in there with John. Oh, I almost did it again. John Parker.
John Parker.
And then he figures out that they can switch the seats so that one can be the gunner and one can be the driver. They figure out how to run it right away. And he zaps Worfin's ship.
Bada boom.
And blows them all to hell. And that's what Worfin says. "I'll see you in hell, Buckaroo Bonzai." So he says his goodbye. He waves goodbye to John Parker.
Parker.
Who flies away. He is in a parachute. Somehow they had a parachute aboard. He's able to parachute out. Or maybe he had it on him somewhere. I don't know.
They have little mini parachutes or something.
And then Jeff Goldblum tells him, "I'm sorry. I tried everything." He didn't say Penny Pretty, but he gets zapped. He's going to kiss the dead body.
Right.
That's like the Sleeping Beauty moment, you know. He's going to kiss the dead body. Oh no! And then he zaps her nose, and she comes alive.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to that slide real quick. Look at that look on her face. Man, is she hot. She's going to get herself some Buckaroo right now.
A little bit of Buckaroo from her.
So here it is. The shades get pulled closed, and we see an overlay of the alien leader, and he's like, "Big deal. So what?" And here we get the announcement. "Watch for the new adventures of Buckaroo Bonzai against the World Crime League."
Man.
Would have loved to have seen that. Would love to have. I mean, even come on, let's do an animated movie. Get the voices back. You know,
I would have loved to have made that movie, man.
It can still happen.
Yeah.
Again, it's a cult classic. And here's the last scene where now this is the they use this in a lot of movies actually.
It's the dam valley.
L.A.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the dam.
It's like a. It's not a dam. It's like a. Like a water. It could be a waterway if there's flooding.
Right.
So, and we watched let's watch that clip again of you dancing around.
Yeah. Let's
stealing focus. Getting your moment. Hey, McQueen did the same thing in Magnificent Seven, man, because he had no dialogue. He said, "I had to do everything I could to steal focus from everybody else in that film."
You got to, man. There he goes.
There you go. catching up.
Look how skinny I was, man. Wow.
And the beret on backwards, Mr. Cool.
Yeah. You know, I think I took that backwards hat thing from my old bass player from New York, was bald at 18.
Oh, geez.
And so he wore a hat like that backwards.
Oh, funny.
So when I saw that hat, I said, this will be a tribute to my friend Tommy Woke, who was later in the Hall & Oates band.
Oh, okay.
Their bass player. Yeah.
And that's it. That's the Buckaroo Bonzai experience.
Hey.
Adventures of Buckaroo Bonzai across the 8th dimension. So happy you were able to come and join us and tell us some great stories from behind the scenes.
Well, me too. It was fun.
Yeah, well, you know, we try. Again, if you'd have told me 3 seasons ago I was going to be doing Buckaroo Bonzai in the show, I would have said, no, well.
Why?
But it makes monsters. I mean, there is monsters and science fiction elements in the film, so it works.
Of course, man.
So glad again we were able to have you here to tell us about what it was like to be there.
Yeah.
All right, Major Hazzard.
It was wonderful. Thank you, Billy. We love you. We want to always have you back. Anytime you're a fan of a monster movie, you're free to come on. You could come on as a guest and talk about someone else's monster movie. It doesn't have to be one of your monster movies. You have an open invite.
Beautiful.
Yes, indeed. If you got a favorite horror film, let us know what it is. We'll let you come on and talk about it.
I'm trying to think. I know I do kind of, you know, I used to, when I used to love to go to the black theaters and watch the horror movies.
Yeah.
Because black people really get into them.
Oh yeah.
You know, they talk to the screen. Look out, man. He gonna stab your ass. You know.
I was watching a video the other day about somebody who was appreciating Blackula, which was the first blaxploitation horror film.
That was
and of course it opened the gates for, you know, like Blackenstein and some other ones that came after.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be doing Dracula's Dog before this season. It's kind of like Benji Goes Awry.
Feature. I think this was in the 70s. A double feature of the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
And the other movie was Freaks.
Yes.
I saw that on the big screen, man.
Oh wow.
Can you imagine seeing that on the big screen?
Wow. Todd Browning, that scene at the end when it's raining and they're coming after the person at the end of the film.
That was deep.
Wow. Maybe we'll have you on for that one. That would be a good one to do.
Freaks, man.
Maybe we'll do that later in the season or next season.
Okay. I'm here.
Sounds good. Sounds like a date. All right. Thank you, folks, for watching. And if you're a red Lectroid, I'm sorry. It's a face only a mother could love. And that's my catchphrase. We're going to get T-shirts made.
Beautiful.
And keep an eye out for those big monsters.
Yeah, man.